My name's Rick Busbridge. I'm working as an integration consultant for Nictis in the Netherlands. My responsibilities as a healthcare interoperability consultant involves defining, publishing and maintaining information standards, specifically in our case for the image availability domain. The biggest challenge we're facing at the moment in developing the image availability standard is on describing metadata correctly. So it's a case of you try and discover what is known about a patient by querying a registry, and in order to have valuable or valid information in that registry, you need to have done the correct registration during the registration process. So it's the metadata that counts more than anything, and good quality metadata, meaning that we all use the same kinds of values for DICOM modalities or body parts, examination codes and so on. So the challenge for us is to establish a common set of these values that we can use as metadata to allow us to register information correctly, so that we can then discover that information at a later date as part of the query and eventually retrieval of that imaging information. The benefits of solving the challenge will be a far more efficient and complete patient history, particularly in radiology, where we're talking about image availability, so our domain is radiology. This is going to help the patient immensely, because if information can be found about the patient, if you get a complete patient history and you have the ability to exchange that patient history cross-border, then it means that there's less need to duplicate examinations, for example. So as a cross-border information exchange increases efficiency. It's also from a safety point of view, because if you're talking about a radiology examination, then there's always a use of radiation, and you want to minimize that contact with the patient. So if you can avoid imaging, then that's a great advantage to a patient. And typically what you see as well is that a lot of the information you exchange is going to be more accurate than re-entering information or trying to obtain the information directly from the patient themselves. So attending this kind of event allows us to discuss what are other people doing, so that we don't reinvent information or don't reinvent things. And the benefit of that, of course, leads to what we're all trying to achieve is also the European integration. So not only at a country level do we have an agreement on how we're going to exchange data, but if we can all agree within each country, then it's going to make the cross-border transition a lot easier for us in the future. I've been working in interoperability for many years now, so I used to work for various companies, and it's really nice to catch up with some of my old colleagues and see what they're doing. And we exchange an awful lot of very valuable information. I'm a technician, so for me it's very important to get the technical details correct. So instead of talking at a high level about something, we really like to get down to the sort of nuts and bolts of an interface or of a message exchange. So it's very valuable. In terms of people who should attend Connectathons, we have a broad audience at the moment in terms of people who are involved in standardization. We have a broad involvement from the suppliers of products. But I think what we actually miss is more the medical side, because I think they don't tend to see what goes on in the background in terms of the standards that are used to exchange information, the ability to have interoperability between different vendors, so that it would give them, I think, a better perspective of the work that's being done in the background to allow them to do their normal day-to-day job in a successful way and give them the appropriate care for a patient.